Harry, this is the first dealer gallery in the Wairarapa, is it?
As far as I'm aware, it's the first one in Masterton. And though it's based in Masterton, I do see it as a New Zealand gallery. And of course the dynamics will be more concentrated locally and spread their way throughout New Zealand. I have a lot of interest from Auckland, Wellington and Queenstown. So I'm a person of New Zealand. We're a gallery of New Zealand.
Yes, well, the world, really.
I have artists in Sydney.
Do you really?
Of all things.
You mean you represent some Australian artists? Or?
Well, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So how does a dealer gallery work? Are you kind of like the agent for the artists, or you're more a place to exhibit and sell on behalf?
Yeah, so I think there are probably as many business models as there are businesses, and a lot of different types of galleries. A lot of the provincial galleries are a little bit like shops. They have a wide range of artists in the same room. They often they have labels which, to me, detract from the work, and that's the way they operate, and that's great. And a lot of people do need those mosaic pukekos, which are fine, and
yes.
and the little watercolours of the town square, which are great. But my particular business model is to represent artists that their work is like nothing else. That's the main thing. If I see an artist's work and it could have been done by this person, that person and the other person, that's really not my area.
No, so we're talking about people that have their own voice, you could say.
Absolutely.
And speak directly to people from who they are. But people are still influenced by other artists, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. I guess it's the artists that work hard, perhaps hard to be original, that I'm interested in. I know as an artist myself, I work extremely hard to be original, and it's not an easy thing.
So as an artist, because so many people who are not operating in that area, might be a bit mystified, because you're not only talking about technical matters, how to get your paint on the canvas, how to get your piece of wood turned into what you see.
Yeah,
it's a blend of personal expression and artistry, but also a kind of craft as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And technique has less to do with it than it used to. If you've got great technique, you could do a portrait of your dog, for instance, and that would be lovely. That would be wonderful. But would it be new? Would it be groundbreaking? Would it be unique? I don't think it would.
But when some people who, there are people who have attitudes towards especially more modern art, and they go, I could do that, or my dog could do that.
Yeah.
So, all right, you say the technique isn't perhaps as important, but there's still skills and experience operating. It's not just, hey, I'm just kind of chucking my mind at a canvas.
Yes, absolutely, and I have my own views on that too. I don't have a huge respect for art that's where the artist hasn't done anything. Personally, my taste is I want to see the maker. I want to see the maker in the work, the painter, the carver. I want to see it wrought by an individual, not just ordered, as it were.
And there's a certain amount of that in the modern art world. It makes me think of people like Jeff Koons, where, all right, you've got a vision, and then you get a bunch of people to make it on your behalf in a way, which I've always found a bit of a strange one.
Yeah. Each to their own. I mean, possibly there's a place for that. I like to slag it off myself, personally. I heard a story of an artist who was represented in a show. He couldn't make it. He rang somebody up and said, can you dump some rubbish on the gallery floor, please?
Yeah.
And which was done. And I can't remember the exact circumstance, but people got in an uproar, and I thought, well, if you're getting in an uproar, you're actually just feeding that sort of Emperor's New Clothes type art, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in a way, you could say it's just as valid to get somebody else to dump the stuff on the floor, because you're making a comment about society and the outsourcing of work to other people. What about then? I mean, this is a fraught area, and we got to acknowledge it's all just a matter of our own opinion.
It is.
But when an installation is a light bulb. Tricky stuff, eh?
Yes, it is. I've seen some lovely installations, and I recently had one at my own gallery, actually. I was fortunate enough. And that was entertaining. I think I saw a dance troupe, and they looked like they were dancing for themselves. They looked like they were having a great time, never mind the audience. And I think making art actually presupposes an audience, and you have to respect your audience and put something out for them.
I guess even if what you're putting out for them, they might not think that they like that, but you're still making an effort. You're acknowledging the fact that it's not just all about me.
Yes, exactly. And you can sense that. There was a lovely installation which was just so fun. It was little speakers hanging from the ceiling, little like transistor radio speakers, and they all had different languages of people. They were undergoing a UFO sighting, so they're driving through the country, and you got the story after a while. So some of them were in English and different accents. And it was just a dim room full of these speakers with this UFO event.
Yeah.
And you'd go from speaker to speaker listening to all these different languages, and it was just beautiful. It was just wonderful, and that's what I call a really cool installation.
Yeah. Having visited your gallery now, what great potential for installations there. Even though it's a relatively small environment, there are different spaces. You've got one room that's like the size of your bathroom, well, not even bathroom, your toilet.
Yeah.
You've done lovely things to show off the art there.
Yeah, an installation, I guess the artist would come and see the space first and read it for what it is, preferably empty. It's very light, but there's no direct sunlight, which makes it an ideal gallery space, because the art's not going to get bombarded by UV. And one wall of windows and 3 blanks. And I've made a miniature gallery in the toilet, and as to installation, miniatures are lovely because you can put them just above the light switch. You can put them in little places in your house where you don't expect.
Yeah.
So you might bend down to change a rubbish bag every now and again. You put a little miniature down there to give you that reward in your own house. And I see installation as like that, not as something out there that nobody's going to understand or engage with. That's what I guess I resent about a lot of modern art, is that it sort of separates a lot of the audience away from it instead of bringing them in.
I guess there is in many art forms, not just visual art, but acting, dance, whatever. There's still a sense often that you've got to be an aficionado to understand it.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong, I think, with saying that the more you're exposed, the more you'll be open to it.
Yeah. You can learn a lot from the arts. You can know a lot about the arts, but one thing a lot of people struggle with is they think they have to understand it. And to me, in visual arts, one of my main ethics is you do not have to understand the artwork you're looking at. You do not have to know anything about it. It has to come from the heart. You have to, from the eyes to the intellect to the heart, or from the eyes to the heart out, the work should have something there for you. Otherwise, forget it.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be almost from the eyes to the stomach.
Yes.
I'm thinking, I went and saw, went to the Tate Modern in London and saw my first actual Rothko.
Right.
And I felt like something just went boom inside me. I felt like it was sucking me.
Yeah, beaut. That's what. And I saw Len Lie's Grass. I had that same thing. I saw Len Lie's Grass, and I heard his the very loud one, bang, 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 in the old art gallery in Wellington. I saw Len Lie's Grass, and I could actually saw a field of grass. It was just lovely. I could see it. In my stomach.
Yeah.
And that was, I was very young. I must have been 17, and it had that profound an effect on me. And all it was a plank with a whole lot of wire sticking out of it, turning slowly, rocking slowly like a seesaw.
It's funny, isn't it? You describe that to people and it would feed some people's kind of negative preconceptions about, modern art, a plank and things. Sometimes you see it and then you go, I don't understand. I still don't understand.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Picasso's Bull's Head, which is a bicycle seat and bicycle handlebars, with the handlebars welded behind the seat, and there's Bull's Head. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is. It's fantastic. I mean, why does art need to be a complicated, distant kind of intellectual exercise?
Yeah, I think some of the, and again, I'm just parading my own ignorance here, but some of the aspects of some modern art that I don't like is in a way where it is kind of all too obvious. Like the art is saying, this is a pun.
Yes.
This means that. And I go along and look at it and go, well, I could come up with 10 puns in a minute. Why is this art thinking it's special by doing that? But again, that's my preconception. For other people, they might find something more in that.
Yeah. My own work has been called quirky, and I do love using puns.
Yeah.
That's the skin of the artwork. That's the veneer.
Yeah. That's
the front. But I like to hope that there's more there, that I'm trying to learn something by making that work too. My work I'm working on at the moment is called Duck Fishy, which is avoid suspicion. That's a kind of pun. But avoiding suspicion is something that I've experienced a lot of, perhaps in workplaces. You don't want to take the blame for anything. And I was recently gifted a painting by Jason Burns, a wonderful artist who I represent, called Maybe I Was Wrong. And I've tried to live by that, in that, the best way to avoid blame is to take the blame for something. If you've stuffed something up, admit, with all of your heart. So that's what I'm exploring right now. But that's still a pun. It's duck fishy. Avoid suspicion.
Look, like puns. I'm a big fan of puns. I mean, I had a lecturer at university who said to me once that the pun was at the heart of all good art, because it's one thing meaning another thing, which is fine. No, I think my Achilles heel is really just the ones that appear to be one pun and nothing else.
Oh, yeah, one trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, one trick.
Yeah. I love what you said earlier about art, like as a little reward, you bend down, which miniatures can be. What a neat idea that we're being rewarded for a little bit of effort, whether in just turning up or bending down to pick up the rubbish or whatever.
I had a picture of a duck in a suit, just on a little piece of paper, just very, very lightweight sort of sketch thing. I mean, it was in colour. I fondly called it Ducky, and I just a little bit of blue tack, and it went above the light switch in the gallery, in the toilet in the gallery, and every time I turned the light on, it's, oh, hello, Ducky.
Yeah, neat.
It was lovely, and art can be that. It can be that. It can be. You can talk to it. It's like your teddy bear.
Yeah. So what is art being in your gallery at the moment? Who are you exhibiting?
I got Dale Anthony at the moment. He's an expert painter, like very, very skilled painter. Could paint anything, but he's also subversive. So he plays with the Renaissance quality painting, and then he splashes around it, and it's very difficult to explain. That's why it's best seen. If you go to the gallery's website, you can see it, and that will tell you more than I can do for an hour. I could sit here for an hour, and you still wouldn't know.
No, but nothing like turning up too, because you can go. It's like, as I say, when I've seen things in reproduction, but when I remember seeing my first Turner. I went, oh wow!
Yeah.
Now I get it. I've seen them on glossy paper and things, but so people need to turn up to your place. Where is it?